As you can see, this is a forge. Just making some javelins for array purposes. I don't really use them outside array. It's two. The reason why we use javelins is because they have really large range. The other thing that we use is, or I use, is shurikens that Velius Moncrist summons. Some of the pull techniques that you can do with the javelins make the range necessary, especially for mobs. Pulling mobs a large distance, like mobs in the sky or mobs in TOV, shit that needs to be pulled. You essentially throw the javelin. You have a res box up and waiting, and after you throw the javelin, you click yes on your res box. Then you get back to where you're wanting to pull to, and then the javelin hits the mob. So even though the res normally loses all your aggro, since the javelin hits the mob after you've cleared aggro, it reacquires aggro, and then the mob will path to you. Javelins are relatively easy to make. You see them for sale in EC for 50 plat a stack. They only cost like 5 to 8 plat a stack to make. So if you're a young blacksmith, you might be able to make a little bit of money making them. I've talked to some of our young blacksmiths in the guild, and they say that they've sold them before, but the demand is somewhat low. I felt my fade there. I wasn't paying attention. It's another joy of EverQuest, the trade skill system. Lots of clicking. So essentially I combine water flask, sheet metal, and a javelin mold and a forge, and I get 2 harpoons per combine. I'm a cheap bastard, so instead of just buying them, I decide to make my own. And that's another thing. I have 179 blacksmithing, yet I lack the skills to fashion an item that has a 60 trivial. It's another one of the joys of EverQuest trade skilling. There's never 100% chance on anything. The most you get is 95%. There's still 5% chance of failure on any item. Drink one of my water. Well. Using the control key to pick up a single item out of a stack. It's pretty handy. You can use, if you just click on a stack, it pops up a selector and you can select how many you want to pick up, which is kind of annoying if you're doing a repetitive trade skill like this. If you hold down control, it picks up 1. If you hold down shift, it picks up the whole thing while you're left clicking. It doesn't really matter where you put these in the forge. It can be anywhere and it'll still do the same thing. These guards in East and West Freeport don't like me. Merchants like me. I've done there's a quest you can do in Kinos that you hand brandy into a guy if you Google P99 Brandy Quest or EverQuest Brandy Quest, it should pop it up for you. It's pretty easy, pretty cheap, and it doesn't take too long. This also gets you in good faction with the bankers in North Freeport. Doesn't help with the guard faction in North Freeport. Unfortunately, you have to kill orcs for that. So I've killed enough orcs that I'm dubious in North Freeport, and I've done the Brandy Quest to get up to ally faction. So I get, and I'm actually max ally because I'm OCD like that. So you get good prices on stuff, like for trade skilling and whatnot, and selling. Since I'm an Ixar, I don't really want to go back to Javelins anytime I want to sell stuff. I also have done the Red Wine Quest in Neriak, and I'm ally with the Neriak merchants, and at least dubious with the guards. There's two different guard factions in Neriak. There's the inner and the outer guard, and the inner guard, I want to say, goes up. There's one of them that goes up quicker than the other. I remember that. So it took quite a few turn-ins. It took me like 500, I want to say, ish turn-ins to get up to dubious. And one of the guard factions of dubious, the other one apprehensive too. So I didn't really feel like handing in more wines. So my OCD didn't win out on the ally guard faction. But as an XR, it's handy to be able to bank and sell and not have to go back to capitalist or rely on shitty prices like the shady swashbuckler in DC. One of the unfortunate things about EverQuest UI is, well, most windows you can lock in positions you don't accidentally move them, but bags, unfortunately, you can't lock. I don't know why. It would be nice, but so I'm always accidentally clicking and rearranging bags when I don't mean to. It pisses me off. So I think before I started this stream, I wasn't talking yet at that point, but the sheet metal is sold in a different area than the water and the molds. So I usually kind of stack up on the sheet metal for however many javelins I'm wanting to make before I come over here to this area of East Freeport to actually make them. There's a forge over here and there's a forge over there. So if someone's like over here using this forge, sometimes there is, because people like to stay close to where the javelin molds are sold, because they're the ones you have to buy more frequently than the water and the sheet metal, because they stack a little bit better. But I'm getting ready to run out of sheet metal pretty soon, so I think I want to make a few more stacks of javs than I'm going to be able to make with what I have. I do forage quite a bit. I don't really like, even though you see that I have some store-bought water bought, you don't really forage enough water as a monk, as an Ixar monk anyways. You start out, I think that's one of our racial skills that we get is you get 100 swimming and 50 forage. It starts at 50 and it never goes up, so it's kind of hit or miss. I do forage more than enough food, but I just usually don't keep up with water. It just depends. Some zones you're in, you drink more water than others. So like right now, I've kind of got a little bit of a stockpile of water going. Well, I'm really having some bad luck with failing feigns around this guard. He's only threatening, but I have an ornate Velium pendant, which does Alliance, which is pretty nice. You should pick one up if you don't have one. They've been nerfed, so before they go up in price too much, I think they're going for about 12k right now. You'll see that even if I use my Alliance necklace on this guy, it's still threatening. So I need to figure out what raises faction with these guards so that they quit pestering me. I don't think I've really gotten into any like Sir Lucan kills or anything that would lower my faction over here. I think they just hate Ixar. And that's what the North Freeport guards were like until I did quite a bit of faction. They may have even been ready to attack versus threatening. One thing that irritates me about trade skills is if you look on the wiki, it says you can use pot of water and foraged water for different trade skill recipes, but if you try to use it, it doesn't work. It says you cannot combine these items in this type of container. So I've been meaning to put a bug report in for that. Go buy one more water here. This guy's the guy that sells water. And if you're ever, it doesn't really work in this instance because the molds are sold over here. But if you're ever like doing trade skills and the merchants for the water is too far away and you don't have to keep coming back to buy water, what you do is you just fill your bags full of water and you go sell it to the merchant that's close to where you're buying your other trade skill stuff and then just buy it back from them. And you don't have to keep running back and forth for it. So I probably want like 5 more stacks of Javelins or so. Make it 4 so it's nice even components. So we're going to run over and get some more sheet metal. Even though I'm on good faction with Nariak, for some reason this particular one is on a different faction, but it's green and doesn't seem to attack. But I'm a monk, so it's not the end of the world usually if I get attacked by shit. Oops. Wrong building. This is their lady that sells sheet metal. You can probably buy it in other places too, but this is just the one I go to. So each stack of harpoons takes 10 sheet metal. So since I want 2 more stacks, I'm going to buy or 4 more stacks, I'm going to buy 2 more stacks of sheet metal. And I'm going to run all the way back over. This is the other forge in East Freeport that you can use if someone's at the other forge. And if they see you're going around to buy Javelin bolts, they'll probably wait till you go away before they go to buy more components, because they don't want you to take their forge. going to go ahead and use up the molds I have in my inventory before I go buy more. So I need to buy more water. So water's the same. So for 1 water you get 2 javelins. Same with sheet metal. And I guess I'm just going to go buy molds already since I'm already running this way. One more. Oh my god, what the fuck? It's retarded. You gotta be shitting me. Makes me want to just kill this guard just because it's pissing me off. Feign Death is like that. You'll go an entire night without it failing once, and then it'll fail like so many times in a row. And it always seems like it's on the pole that you don't want it to fail on. Like when we were doing Chardock Royals the other day, and you got the whole king room or queen room coming at you, and that's when it decides to fail. Never ceases to amaze me at the percent of time that it'll fail on a ruinous pole. We actually had pretty bad luck. Someone was standing on the ledge or something the last time when we were doing Chardock, and I think it was our first king pull, and they actually got, I think, king plus like 4, maybe 5 ads. They handled it pretty well, so I was proud of them being my guild. Oh hey, I'm the leader of Fires of Heaven, by the way. Got a few users in here now, I guess. Can you hear me all right? Actually got, I think, king plus like 4, maybe 5 ads. They handled it pretty well, so I was proud of them being my guild. Oh hey, I'm the leader of Fires of Heaven. As you can see, even though you only make 2 of these at a time, they start to add up pretty quick, and you can get quite a few stacks fairly easily without too much work. Oh my god, Forge. I have my Forge set up to a hotkey that does doability and then auto inventory, and actually I set this hotkey up a long time ago. Since then I've kind of reworked it to put a little bit of a delay between doing those, so it automatically does it. See if I can show you how that works next time Forge is up. I have Forge bound to a movement key, actually, that hotkey down here. So actually when I push the left, turn left, it activates that hotkey, so it's constantly foraging. That's how I stay full of food and marginally full to drink. As you can see, I kind of line up the forge next to a bag that I have my components in. It's kind of hard to do with the molds since they don't stack, but if you do this enough, you're going to want it to be pretty much as easy as possible. You don't want to put your stuff over here, then you're moving your mouse more. If you do the trade skills, you'll see what I mean. So I need five more molds and I should be done. Be stocked up again for a week or two. I had to destroy some of my food to make room for molds. I usually like keeping at least one stack of each food, that way it doesn't propagate in this side of my bags. It's like keeping my food, my drink, and my keys and stuff in my in bags, and I keep one backpack space open usually for my beads. So I hate having to swap them in and out of a bag to use them. There's a lot more chance of accidentally throwing them on the ground or something too. That forage hotkey is notorious if you have a full inventory for dropping shit on the ground. Just gotta be careful with it. Well, I didn't quite make full stacks, but let's put those in my ammo slot. There we go. We're set for jabs for a little while. Got lots of fun clickies. Lunatic, the infamous, actually helped me get some flowers. Free of charge, actually. So, and then I have this neat crown from Hate. The second floor of Hate mobs dropped this crown of hatred that has a targetable clicky ultravision, so you can click it on yourself or you can click it on other people. It's good for a junk buff. As a puller, it's good to have junk buffs. The flowers are nice too. You can pick up the black and the green flower for like 1,400 plat or so for both of those, and then I think the white flowers like 10k-ish, and then it goes up to like 40. Well, the white one might be 40 because I think it goes up pretty steep after that. I think the red one's like 100k worth of cards or something like that, and then the blue one is worth like because it uses all thrones, it's worth like 400k, so it goes up real steep real quick. Some of them don't. Some of them stack better than others. Like the disease one, doesn't stack with resist disease. Doesn't stack with the talisman, the Shami talisman. It doesn't really stack with a whole lot. The green one is nice. It does stack with different buffs. It actually stacks with resist poison. It stacks with the talisman of poison against Shadu. It stacks with DMF. So you can actually get to 255 poison resist pretty easily. And the cold flower, the white flower, it does stack with It's not stacked with resist cold, but it does stack with Circle of Summer, the Druid buff. Unfortunately, the red flower does not stack with Circle of Winter or resist fire, and the blue flower for magic resist does not stack with anything either. It doesn't stack with resist magic or group magic resist. So they're, I would still like them, even though the cards for them are super expensive. As a monk, I really love being able to buff myself with resists whenever I want. They make good junk buff resists. My clickies, I mean, they're not instant click, but I mean, still, it's nice. They cast pretty quick, and they also give you a good bump to your resists, so you can look at my resists are pretty good. As a monk, I usually wear mostly resist gear when I'm pulling, and I usually pull. And I still do pretty solid DPS as well on my parses, so even wearing all this resist gear. I don't really wear the shield I only wear it when I'm pulling or when I'm fashion questing. And the stone is kind of a pain in the ass. It's catch-22 because you can't throw shurikens or javelins with it in your range slot. You gotta swap it out. But that 30 fire, 30 cold is super nice. Weight sucks, but yeah. So I'm a monk, so I'm going to go put the rest of this plat in the bank, because I don't like carrying plat around on me. So weight, my AC right now unbuffed is 906, and my weight is 39, which is kind of high. It's because I have my sword, my shield, and the stone on. The stone weighs 7, so it's pretty heavy. I think at level 60 you can get up to 27 or so before it starts affecting your AC. I'll put everything heavy in a bag here in a minute, and I'll show you what my AC goes up to after my weight gets down below the threshold. Be careful around here, because some of these casters are they're only greenies. Some of the stuff you'll run into, like if you run into the Monk Guild or the Bard Guild, they're yellows. They whip your ass. Definitely didn't hunt and miss more, otherwise I might actually have good Bard faction. I've actually thought about going back there just to work on faction, because the Bard Guild is where you buy backpacks easily here in Freeport. And every once in a while I do want to go buy a bag. But I've settled I'll buy like fletching kits, or I'll go out to North Row and buy a large sewing kit. I don't always want to have beads in my inventory slots. Sometimes I want more inventory space in my inventory slots. And we do Sky every week on Mondays. Monday nights, we share that day with Europa. They don't do it every week, but they do it once or twice a month. So it's a little bit rough whenever they do it, because they kind of do midday versus AM or PM. And see, I'm not KOS to the guards. The merchants are dubious, and the merchants are ally, and the bankers are ally. So all you Ixars, trolls, ogres, dark race, evil races that are continually annoyed about having to bank this way, trying to get that sweet spot where you can click the banker on this side of the wall and not get attacked. Yeah, you can just do that quest and not have to worry about it ever again. A little bit of housekeeping here, because I don't get way too much junk in my inventory. A lot of it I can't really help. Some of it I'm too stubborn to eat. Save magic food, I always bring it out. A little three save magic doesn't really do a whole heck of a lot, but every little bit helps. you might not resist that root, but by golly, the roots, the higher your MR is, the better chance you have of it breaking early. So it all helps. The more you have helps. Oh, wait. So putting that in the bank, just the plat put me down to 19, which is below the threshold. So my ACs went up almost 100 points. So that's how much weight affects Monk's AC. And if you look at how much AC the top end cleric AC buff gives, you'll understand how much 100 AC matters. Or just ask a warrior. They'll be glad to tell you. Or Shadow Knight or Pally. What they really like to do is put the high con guards right outside the gate. So these ones are actually can do quite a bit of damage. And one of my beefs with NPCs in this game is they've hit every NPC after a certain level bashes and kicks. But 9 times out of 10, when they hit you, they're going to bash first and it's going to stun. And it's really fucking annoying. Especially when there's like 4 blue con guards beating on you. But as a monk, you can just FD and wait for the stun to wear off, so it's not too bad. It's just annoying. Speaking of resist gear, I do have some Valium Diamond wedding rings that I swap out when MR is not a super overriding factor. Usually the MR is for roots and fears. So a lot of dragons use Dragon Roar, which is a fear, and you need the magic resist, and that's what's most important. A lot of the stuff, like in Halls of Testing and East TOV, does not, you don't necessarily need magic resist for it unless it's one of the little drakes that casts Wizzy nukes. But those are usually cast on the tanks. So I'll swap out with the Valium Diamond Wedding Rings so that I get more to my FR and CR. And actually, I'll let you look and see what I get up to. Pretty much self-buffed with those. I usually will be wearing the Golden Diamond Mask because it's got more save cold and save fire on it than the Electrum Diamond Mask, which has the disease and poison swapped with fire and cold. So fire is 5 and cold is 5 and disease is 10 and poison is 10. So situationally the Electrum Diamond Mask could be better on the dragons and stuff. But I've talked about poison resist already in this stream with resist poison, DMF, and whatnot. If you have a flower, you can easily get up pretty high in your poison resist. I'm sitting at 169 self-buffed right now with DMF and resist poison or Talisman of Shadoo. You can get that up to 255 self-buffed easy, so the poison's not a big deal. And There's not a whole lot of mobs that use disease-based AoEs. There's some dragons in Western Waste that use it. And, we haven't been to VP yet. We haven't keyed up for it yet, but I think there's at least one dragon in there that has pretty nasty disease AoE. So with all my resist gear on, I sit at pretty decent numbers for most of these. And one thing about the food, the save magic food, is if you put it in your top slot, you'll see that you get the bonus from that. So when I pick it up, I have 128. When I put it down, it's 131. And a little bit of a trick is if you eat your food and you can stay full, you're never going to eat that. You just have to remember to keep kind of fill yourself up on whatever food you have. That way you're not eating your stat food. Because some of it has pretty rare components. Like this is made with wyvern meat, and the pixie powder is Thinestics, I'm sure probably pixie meat. And there's other stat food that raises other stats. My favorite's just save magic. And I think that's really